pretty much. So let's get into it. We dropped the intro.
I wonder, can you save me? Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body. God, I wonder, can you save me? Secret society, trying to keep the eye. God, I wonder, can you save me? Illuminati want my mind, soul, and my body. God, I wonder, can you save me? I can't down. Yeah.
That fire, that intro is fire.
It's nice, huh? Yeah.
That should be stuck in my head.
Yeah.
Illuminati in my mind, soul, and my body.
In DC, the same statue that was toppled in 2020 during the Black Lives Matter protests. Since then, it's just been an empty pedestal, until recently, that is. We knew it was coming back to the Labor Building, but this fence has been up for a while, sort of shielding it from view, but not anymore. We stopped by and found that now the esteemed general is back to remind us all what this administration values. For what it's worth, I saw this sticker right next door. Hit follow to keep an eye on the DC streets and join me and my pups on our walks around Washington, DC. Thank you, bye 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 bye. The Albert Pike statue is officially back on display in Washington, D.C., the same statue that was toppled in 2020 during the Black Lives Matter protests. Since then...
This is Albert Pike. He was a 33-degree Mason and fought on the Confederate side of the Civil War. So we know what he stood for. But recently, Donald Trump restored the statue of Albert Pike in D.C. And I found it interesting.
To this wonderful place. I think we should do it. This was the ballroom, and this room holds 88 people. And the new one will hold 999 people, which is a difference. I say 999 because I didn't want to crack 1,000. I didn't want people to get concerned.
But remember, from here on in, history has its eyes. But remember, from here on in.
Scottish Rite House of the Temple in Washington, D.C. And most people have no idea that this place is open to the public. Inside there's an incredible library filled with rare esoteric books on Freemasonry, symbolism, philosophy, and the Western mystery traditions. You can sit for hours reading and reflecting. The building itself feels powerful, like it's soaked in the energy of more than a century of rituals and history. The temple is closely connected to Albert Pike, the man who basically organized Scottish Rite Freemasonry in America and also wrote Morals and Dogma, one of the most important books on Masonic philosophy and symbolism. And here's something most people don't know. You can actually visit Albert Pike's tomb. It's located in the base of the building in a memorial chamber, and they will take you there during a public tour. They also give tours throughout the day, and there's a gift shop where you can buy books on symbolism, Freemasonry, and the esoteric tradition. If you are interested in the hidden history of the United States, this is the best place in Washington, D.C. to spend a magical afternoon. Today I visited the Scottish Rite House.
Lucifer is the god the Masons follow. Albert Pike also said this in his Morals and Dogma book: "We shall unleash the nihilists and the atheists, and we shall provoke a great social catalysm, which in all its honor will show clearly to all nations the effect of absolute atheism, the origins of savagery, and of most bloody turmoil. The people would be forced to defend themselves against the world minority of the world revolutionaries, and will exterminate those destroyers of civilizations, and the multitude disillusioned with Christianity, whose spirits will be formed that moment with direction and leadership and anxious for an ideal, but without knowledge where to send its adoration, will receive the true light through the universal manifestation of the pure doctrine of Lucifer, brought finally out into the public view. A manifestation will result from a general reactionary movement which will follow the destruction of Christianity and atheism, both conquered and exterminated at the same time." In this passage, Albert openly admits that the Freemasons are working against the church and atheism as they're trying to establish the worship of Lucifer. This is what the principles of the New World Order is: establishing a one-world government ruled by the ideologies of Lucifer. he openly admits that they must orchestrate a social catalysm to bring in the worship of Lucifer. This is in Albert Pike's book that the Masons love so much. How do they even try to deny that Masonry is satanic? One of the leaders literally admitted this himself. The thing is, lower degree Masons don't know the truth because they're kept from knowing it on purpose. In his book Morals and Dogma, he also admits this when he states, Masonry, like all the religions, all the mysteries, conceals its secrets from all except the adepts and the sages, or the elect, and uses false explanations and misinterpretations of its symbols to mislead those who deserve only to be misled. The blue degrees are but the outer court of the portico of the temple. Part of the symbols are displayed there to initiate, but he is intentionally misled by false interpretations. It is not intended that he shall understand them, but it is intended that he shall imagine he understands them. Their true explanation is reserved for the adepts, the princes of Masonry. Here, Albert Pike openly admits that not even the Mason members know the truth about Masonry, only the elect. He admits that they must keep the lower degrees of Masonry clueless about the truth. He also claims that the first degrees of Masonry are there to distract and mislead. This is why so many low-degree Masons claim they have nothing to do with Lucifer, because they themselves don't know the truth. Only the elect, only the ones they choose, know the truth. Albert Pike not only revealed all of this, but he also revealed that the Freemasons have 3 world wars planned that will bring in the new Masonic world order. In a letter written from Albert Pike to Giuseppe Mazzini, he states, the First World War must be brought about in order to permit the Illuminati to overthrow the powers of Caesar in Russia and of making that country a fortress of atheistic communism. The Second World War must be fomented by taking advantage of the differences between the fascists and the political Zionists. This war must be brought about so that Nazism is destroyed and that the political Zionism be strong enough to institute a sovereign state of Israel and Palestine. During the Second World War, international communism must be strong enough in order to balance Christendom, which will be then restrained and held in check until the time when we need it for the final social catalysm. The war must be conducted in such a way that Islam and the political Zionism mutually destroy each other. Meanwhile, the other nations, once more divided on this issue, will be constrained to fight to the point of complete physical, moral, spiritual, and economic exhaustion. In this letter, Albert Pike revealed the plans for the New World Order. Plans that, if we take a look around, clearly appear to be unfolding right in front of our faces. He openly declares himself as a member of the Illuminati, which, like I already revealed, is a part of Masonry. It's important to note that they had this letter in display in a British library in the London Museum until 1977. This is another piece of proof that the Freemasons try to deny, claiming that there's no proof this letter was written by Albert Pike. We will not fall for these lies, as we know they're going to deceive us like Albert Pike stated. The first 2 wars Albert Pike spoke about have already happened. We see what's going on overseas right now, and now we know who's truly behind it. This is a plan in motion since the 1800s. For those still skeptical on whether Masonry follows Lucifer, you might believe it more from other prominent Masons. Mainly P. Hall, a prolific Masonic writer, stated this: when Masons learn that the key to the warrior on the block is the proper application of the dynamo of living power, he has learned the mysteries of his craft. The seething energies of Lucifer are in his hands, and before he may step onwards and upwards, he must prove his ability to properly apply this energy. Manly P. Hall, just like Albert Pike, admits their admiration for Lucifer. Another prominent Freemason by the name of Domenico Morgado stated, Palladism is necessarily a Luciferian rite. It's religious and Manichaean neo-Gnosticism teaching that the divinity is dual and that Lucifer is equal to Adonai, which Lucifer, the god of light and goodness, struggling for humanity against Adonai, the god of darkness and evil. Albert Pike had only specifically unveiled the dogmas of the high grades of all masonries. For no matter what rite, the great architect of the universe is not the God worshipped by Christians. Domenico openly admits that the great architect that all the Masons follow isn't the same God that we the Christians worship. This is what Freemasons believe in. This is the truth. Those that practice in secret always have something to hide. The sad reality is that only the elect know the truth about Masonry. So many members joined because of their fathers and grandfather who taught them Masonry was a brotherhood of God, only to never know that they truly worship the light bearer Lucifer. So when you hear somebody claim that the Freemasons are just a club of old rich men, show them this video, as this is undeniable proof that the Freemasons follow Lucifer.
So we're getting a new old statue back. Yay! More Confederate generals and soldiers are being put back up to be praised. This soldier in particular is Albert Pike. He believed that black people were subhuman. He also was a Confederate general. Now, I asked Google about Albert Pike because I just wanted to see what they would say. They mentioned his achievements, like him being a lawyer and editing a newspaper, being a poet, a Confederate general, becoming the leader of the Whig Party before the Civil War. That's all fine and fucking damn. He was also tasked recruiting and commanding Native American troops for the Confederacy, which involved negotiating treaties and leading them to battle. I honestly didn't know that part, y'all. I asked Google why y'all didn't mention that he owned slaves. And Google said based on the available information, it's evident that Albert Pike was a proponent of slavery and that this played a huge role in his support for the Confederacy. Now, Pike, he didn't just enslave people. He even placed notices on them to bring their asses back when they ran away. He also believed that black people were inferior. This belief aligned with the justifications of using the institution of slavery. He supported states' rights and a secession from the North. He also had involvement with the KKK. Now, I don't know which one is worse. This man's statue being put back up in Washington, D.C., or Googling him and them not mentioning slavery not one fucking time until you ask. They didn't have a problem saying that he commanded Native American troops. That was the biggest thing about him. But they ignored the fact that he owned slaves until I asked. So are y'all trying to rewrite history, Google? What the fuck is that? So we're getting a new old statue back.